Hello all guys, welcome back. So let's look into the today's lead code problem. The problem name is count the number of array with k matching adjacent element. And what we mean by k matching adjacent element? So they given the statement that problem statement is that you are given a three integer n, m and k. Okay. And what will be the condition for good array? A array of size n is defined as a follow, means each element in the array is in this range 1 to m. Okay, and the second condition is that the array is having at least means exactly k indices, i.e. where I is less than n. Okay, means in the range of I in the range of 1 to n and satisfy this condition. Means the condition is that k adjacent where they meet means the equivalent adjacents, means array of I minus 1 is equivalent to the array of I. Okay, now we have to return the number of good arrays that can be formed in a array which is satisfy this condition and having a element in this range 1 to m. So number of good array we can form. Okay, and the resultant will be maybe very large, so we have to return mod of 10 to the 9 plus 7. So l- just to visualize the problem statement, let's look into some examples. As they given a size of array will be 3 and m value is 2. Okay, means 1 and 2, only two value we have. And in that array, we have to form k, at least one adjacent. Okay, so if we look into this examples, what will be the good array? This one will be the one good array because it is having at least one adjacent. This one also have is a good array because it is having one adjacent, means one adjacent means one index which is satisfying the condition. It is also having a only one index which is satisfying this condition. It is also okay. So we can form this type of four array. Now look looks second one example. In this case, our size of the array will be 4 and the range of element will be 2. Still again 2, 1 and 2. And for k it will be 2, means at least two index in this array need to satisfy this condition. Okay, for this index, is it satisfying? Yes, it is satisfying. For this index, is it satisfying the condition? Yes, it is. This will be also a one type of array. In this one index is satisfying one, and this last one index also satisfying the condition. This is also a array in where this one second last index and the last index both are satisfying the condition. So in this way, we'll able to form such arrays. Now we'll look into the just what will be the intuition behind to solve the problem. So what 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 all three information we have? We have three information. One one is n, means n is size of array, size of array. Second one is m, m is range, range for element, elements in array. Okay, which is 1 to m. Now the last one is k. K is the exact exact amount which satisfy, means exact amount of index which satisfying the condition. Okay, exact x would satisfy condition, given condition. What will be the condition? The array at I minus 1 is equivalent to array at I. Okay, this one will be the condition. Okay, now just think that if let's say but in the size in the array, in this array, okay, This is an array of size n, of size n. So in this array, how many indices will be there, which is satisfying the condition maximum? What will be the maximum? Is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this will be n minus 1. So total number of adjacent means adjacent index is n minus 1 here, and from the n minus 1 index we have to satisfy exact how much, exact k. Okay, from that we have to satisfy exact k. Okay, and for each of the section means for each of the adjacent, what we want, for we see there is total adjacent will be n minus 1 and we want only k. From out of n minus 1 we are interested only in k. Okay, so for each of them the for each of them will be the value will be same. Okay, for all adjacent the value will be same. Let's say at array at I should be equivalent to array at I minus 1. Okay, this one, this one will be the condition. So for that, for all such case k adjacent having the same value, so what will be the total combination for n total, for n minus 1 combination will be what, n minus 1 factorial. Okay, okay, now but we are interested in k, k such combination out of n minus 1 we are interested in k factorial. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll apply combinations here. So out of n minus 1 factorial we are interested in k such combinations. And so what will be the a factorial by b factorial by a minus b factorial. Okay, so we'll reduce this. What will be the exact, n minus 1 minus k will be, this one will be the factorial. Now this is the one state. So for each factorial what will be the value? There are a range, means value of element, value of element will be in this range, 1 to m range. So for each value there are multiple combinations. Okay, so for each combination there will be m ways. Okay, m, so it will be m times of, it will be m times of a factorial by b factorial times a minus b factorial. It will be the this one. Now this is the one case, but what will be for the rest of the case? So we are taking this one case. In for this one we are talking about which one case, n minus 1 minus my k. Okay, this one. But what will be the rest of rest? So what will be the rest? For the rest amount means what will be that, for the rest amount means rest adjacent, the value should be differ. Okay, so what will be the rest? N minus k, n minus 1 minus k. So the rest amount will be k, means now k to n minus 1 for this range. Okay, for this range now we are interested in this range. So for this range the value of m, here this, the choice for all of these combination, what will be the number of choices is m. Okay, but for the rest of this k to n minus 1 adjacents we have only m minus 1 choices, we have only m minus 1 choice, and what will be the total range is k to n minus 1. Okay, k to m minus 1. So for this m minus 1 what will be the total choices to the power of n minus k minus 1. Okay, so let's write the equation correctly. Okay, so there are two parts. Okay, so for one part, for interest for means for such k adjacent. Okay, for k For k adjacent, what will be the value? M choices we have, and this will be the value a factorial by b factorial times a minus b factorial. Okay, means what will be the value of a? A will be here is n minus 1, and what will be the b? B is equivalent to our k. Okay, now this is for corresponding to our k adjacent, and for rest of the adjacent means for k to n minus 1 adjacent. Okay, for k to n minus 1 adjacent, what will be the range? Means what will be the number of option we have? Means m minus 1 option we have, because we want that adjacent should be differ by their adjacent element. Okay, so they're having only m minus 1 choices. So total number of combination will be m minus 1 times to the power of n minus k minus 1. Okay, now we have to take the multiple of both. So what will be the final statement will be, let's write it by, the final statement is m times n minus 1 factorial by a factorial by n minus 1 minus में k factorial. Okay, times this one m minus 1 choice that to the power of n minus k minus 1. Okay, now to solve this equation we have to calculate two things. What two things we have to calculate in this part? In this first part we have to calculate the factorial. In this part we have to calculate factorial. And here in this part what we want to calculate? Exponentiation. Okay, power. Okay, so for both of them we'll use means for calculate easily calculating the factorial and reduce this, we can solve this as a this one n minus 1 factorial times inverse factorial of this, inverse factorial of k, k inverse factorial means inverse inv, inverse factorial of k times inverse factorial of n minus 1 minus k. Okay, we'll solve this. So for that we have to first what we have to do, we have to pre-calculate the factorials for all of that range. Okay, similarly we have to use this fast exponentiation method, fast exponentiation power method, to calculate the power easily in the log n time. Okay, so now let's look into the code side, what will be the coding. So this is the method. First we'll check how we will calculate the exponentiation power. Okay, means x to power n. What it will calculate? It will give me x to the power n. So for that we'll take a resultant initially. Okay, which is initialized by 1. Okay, and we'll apply a loop until our n value greater than 1. Okay, in that loop we have to update our result. We have to update our result only when the its binary will be odd. Okay, so we have to update our result. Here will our result will be resultant times x, means the value of x we have to update in result. Okay, else we have to do the square. Okay, first what we have to do, square of x and divide the, means here we have to divide the n by 2, n by 2 means what we are doing here, we are shifting the n by 1. Okay, 1 bit to the left, so it will do the divide operation by 2. Okay, so in the end we have to return a result, what will be the exponentiation power, means x to the power n. So Now second step we have to do pre-compute factorial, calculate the whole pre-compute factorial. So this thing will talk about it later, why we are applying this statement that if factorial of 0 is 0 already, then we have to return why we did. So we'll talk about later. So first initially we have to calculate all the factorial. So what will be the statement of calculating factorial? Factorial will be means, let's say factorial of um, let's say factorial of 4 will be what, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, this will be. So similarly we have to update our initial value by 1, will be the 1. Now we have to in the increment order, okay, from 1 to our maximum range, we have to update the factorial, okay, by taking mode also. Now similarly we'll update our inverse modulo also. How will update inverse modulo, inverse factorial? We'll take the exponentiation power of factorial, okay, okay, this factorial by mod minus 2, okay, this will give me the inverse factorial of maximum value of minus maximum value का, okay. Now we from the in the decreasing order I have to update our inverse factorial. The inverse factorial of I minus 1 will be inverse factorial of I times I. We have to just do multiplication. Now for calculating the combination means it will give me the a factorial by b factorial minus my a minus b factorial. So what we have to do, n factorial here, okay, what we have to get first, n factorial by k factorial by k factorial inverse, because we are taking the inverse factorial, that's why we are taking a- m factorial times n minus m factorial, okay, it will give me the combination, number of combination. So these three helping method we need. Now the simple intuition is that m times, because for the combination of this, the combination of n minus 1 to k, okay, combination has m choice, okay, and the rest of the choice means from k to n minus 1 we are having m minus 1 choice. So we'll take the exponentiation here, okay, exponentiation power of m minus 1 times n minus 1, okay, so we'll return that. So let's look into the, this is the C++ implementation. Now we'll look into the Rust implementation also parallelly. So how can we implement the same intuition in Rust? Okay, so this is the Rust implementation. So while going through the Rust implementation, we'll look into the depth. Okay, so in the top, what I did here, I am defining the global variables. So in Rust, we unable to define the global variable using let thing. Okay, so here I am using the constant or static. There are two ways to define global variable, either using constant or either using static. So as I need mode and this maximum size as a part of constant, so I defined as a constant. Okay, and here I give the range also for our mode, and taking this maximum part, this range, maximum range are why, for which purpose we are using this range, for iterating purpose, so that's why I defined it as a u size. Okay, now we need a array, factorial array and inverse factorial array, so that's why I am taking as a static mutable. I want to change their value, that's why I am taking as a static mutable, and initialize from the zero value of 4, and this is the initialization part, and this is the size, okay, how much size I needed. Okay, in the implementation part we'll see how we'll give the first the same how we'll give the exponential power, means first power method. So this is the structure, this is the type of return, how means what type of data is written from this method. This is the way to define a local variable, let mutable result, and will here we are giving this means uh, initialize result as a I64 bit, and then initialize from 1. and else everything is same. Now we have to compute the factorial. So there is one thing why we are using this unsafe here. Okay, so because we are accessing the global variable here, this global static mutable variables we are using. That's why we have to use the global variable in the unsafe block. Okay, the unsafe block, first we'll give this check. So why we are giving this check? So to reduce the complexity means, as we call this this compute factorial as a pre-compute method. Okay, and in the means suppose let's say there are kind of this kind of case. Let's say int e means these are the test case, and this will be equivalent to this one, say in n. Okay, so uh, for all of the test case is needed, means for all of the test case is it needed that we call pre-compute factorial again and again? No, that's why this is the one reason. Okay, that's why they use i- this condition. If factorial part is already computed, then we have to return from it from here, else we have to calculate the factorial part. Now how can we do for, for loop from range based? Okay, from 1 to max, or in the reverse order from 1 to max in the reverse order, means I minus minus and I plus plus. This is the corresponding to I plus plus, and this is corresponding to what? I minus minus statement. Okay, here we are updating our for loop in the Rust. Why it is memory safe? Because we have to everywhere in every operation we have to give its data type. As I am treating this factorial as a 64-bit, so but here I am taking as a 32-bit, so I have to define. Okay, before computing I have to define the size. I am taking it as a 64-bit. I also am taking as a 64-bit. Okay, and whatever the resultant coming from this block, I want it as a in 32-bit. I have to give everything precisely. Okay? And how can we call there is method, means implemented in the solution using the self operator. Okay, self colon colon. The rest of the implementation is same. Okay, similarly in combination function also we have to use unsafe method because we are accessing the static global variables. Okay, now see, here I am use why I am redefining the n, my n as a u size, k as a u size. Why I am defining, I am here I am changing the size of m also to a 64-bit, because I am passing all of these information to different methods. So in Rust, the thing is not implicitly typecast. We need to typecast all the thing explicitly. Okay, this is the main difference. And in the end, we'll calculate all the things and will return simply. Means m choices with the combination value and the exponentiation value, whatever we get. Okay, will return as a I32, means integer of 32-bit size. Okay, this is the Rust implementation. Okay, thanks all. We'll wrap the call here. Bye.